Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. In this video we'll be covering some significant issues that I personally face as a student and how I tackle them. Being a student can be overwhelming at times with a lot of assignments to do, projects to complete and exams to juggle. And it is really easy to get caught up in overthinking and procrastination all the time. So, in this video we'll be covering some tips that I personally use in my life to tackle those problems. Before we start, let me be clear, this is not a motivational video because I personally don't believe in motivation that especially comes from a video, because it doesn't last long, right? It may last for 2-3 hours or maybe maximum for a day, but it doesn't last for long. So I personally don't believe in motivational video, and this is not a motivational video at all. But I do believe in completion of work. In this video, I will teach you exactly how to fool your brain and get the work done. Before we start, let's discuss something. Why this happens all the time? We know we have to study, but still we end up scrolling on TikTok and Facebook for hours. The main reason is our brain. Our brain is not actually the reason, but the way it is designed is the problem. See, the thing is, our brain is actually designed for survival and not for hard work at all. So our brain tends to conserve as much energy as possible, and it always delays the hard working part. That's why we always end up doing the less effort thing like scrolling through phone and end up delaying the studying part or project completing part, right? And it is actually not that easy to trick our brain, but there are tips and tricks that can help us to overcome all these problems. If you go online, then you can find a lot of tips and tricks that might help you, but in this video we'll be discussing what are the tips that I personally use, and I will teach you how to use them properly. We are starting a series in which I'll be sharing some tips and tricks that I personally use to make my life a little organized and get the work done more efficiently. I think those might help you as well. So without further ado, let's directly begin to our video. See, there are actually a lot of issues that we need to figure out, but in this particular video we'll be discussing about procrastination and overthinking and what I do to overcome those things. Tip number 1. Yes, there is a rule called 5-second rule that I use almost daily in my life. What this rule says is you have to move your body as quick as possible in less than 5 seconds to maintain that idea. Whenever we get an idea, we have to move our body quickly so that our brain doesn't kill it, because as I said earlier, our brain is made for survival, not for hard working. So if it creates an idea and we don't act quickly, then it will kill that idea and give you another reason not to do that. You have to move your body as quickly as possible to get that thing done. If it's a little unclear, let me give you an example. In this winter, we all have to wake up in the morning, right? But when alarm rings, we turn that off and we want to sleep for 5 more minutes. But sometimes that 5 minutes turn into hours. I don't know of you, but I have done that. But if we apply this rule here, and just after alarm rings, if we get out of the bed, then there is no going back. Then our brain plans other things like brushing our teeth, washing your face, or our brain starts planning other things to do after waking. If you are thinking, Manish, we know that stuff, we all know that we have to wake up, but we simply just can't because we need that 5-minute extra sleep. But we can't just wake up by thinking. Yes, thinking of something and doing something is actually quite hard. So here comes the discipline part. If you have self-discipline and you can simply just wake up or just simply get out of bed after the alarm rings, then it's win-win situation. But sometimes our habit doesn't let us do this. So here comes the second part of 5-second rule. Sometimes we have to force our body until it start doing it by itself. In this particular case, start putting your alarm clock or phone in the another corner. Your alarm will not be close to your bed to turn it off and just simply go back to sleep. Your alarm is in the another corner of room, and you have to get out of the bed to stop that, and you are in this way you are forcing your body to get out of the bed. Once you are out of the bed, then you will not come back to bed and sleep again, right? Once you are out of bed, you will plan other steps and start doing things. Our brain is actually simply so lazy, it doesn't do tasks by itself, so we have to force it sometimes to do something. But once you start doing these things, your brain will automatically comply to this and it becomes a habit, and you don't need to force your brain anymore, and you will be doing all the things by yourself. Tip number 2. Yes, it's called a 1-minute rule. Before getting to this rule, let's discuss how and what is this rule and why it is necessary and how can we apply this. We all want to stop thinking and just start doing, but simply we can't start anything, right? Because our brain, again, it's too lazy to start something. I will give you a simple example. Just we all have that habit of studying at the last moment, because we cannot start at early stage. Let's say you have exams after 1 month and you have to start studying from today, but you will start studying at the last week or last day of exam. When we do that, we all have that guilt in our mind. I wish I have started earlier. I would have gotten a lot better marks. Because yes, simply when you start at the last moment, you cannot unlock your full potential and you cannot give your 100%, right? And here comes the 1-minute rule. This rule will help you to start early. And what this rule says is, at first we have to break down into smaller steps. Because let me give you an example. If you have exams after 1 month and if you look at your textbook, your textbook is this big, right? And it will simply give you anxiety, and that's too much of work. I can't start today. It's too tiring to start today. But if you start breaking down that big context or big task into smaller parts, like maybe a 5-minute task or 1-minute task. If you break down that book into chapters into parts into paragraphs, or parts into topics, this is the best way to trick your brain. If you break down your last tasks into smaller tasks, and if you start doing it just 1 minute for a day, just 1 minute, I won't ask more. If you start preparing for the exam just for 1 minute for a day, simply just 1 minute, no more than that, right? You start 1 week for just one minute for 1 week. You will study 7 minutes in 7 days, no problem. That's actually quite good, because starting something is very essential. Sometimes you spend 0 minute in 1 week, but here you are studying 7 minutes for 1 week, and in next week you will feel you will feel that if I can study for 1 minute, then why not 2 minutes? You will start in 8th day, you will start reading for 2 minutes. Then in 9th day, it can be 3 minutes. It can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, up hour. This is simply because you will get a sense of accomplishment. If I can read for 1 minute, why can't I read for 1 hour? Obviously you can, but simply you are not ready to start. If you start reading for 1 minute, then it will multiply over time, and in the 1 month period you will be studying like crazy. Here comes the third tip. It is associated with this. You will say, yes, I can read for 1 hour, but I can't just stay focused. I know I have to study. You have the feeling of study inside your heart. There is a bonding. I want to study. There is a feeling, but simply you can't focus, right? We all face that. Simply lack of focus is the main reason most of the students can't focus. You take the textbook, you start reading, and after 5 minutes you are like, I want to sleep, I can't focus. Yes, it happens to 90% of the student, right? And there is a tip that can help this. It is called Pomodoro technique. What is Pomodoro technique is, our brain actually needs break. It cannot function for like so long, right? And what does this Pomodoro technique does is, it will give you time to focus, and after that time it will give you a 5 minute to 15 minute breaks depending on how much you have focused. There is an app called Pomodoro Timer, or you can simply go to any web browser and type in Pomodoro Timer, and it will take you a web page. There you can start. It will give you a 25-minute time. You can just reduce that time if you think 25 is too much of time, and you will simply focus on that 25 minutes. You will study, then it will give you a 5-minute break, then again 25 minutes, then it will give you a 5-minute time, again 25 minutes, then it will give you a long break of 15 minutes. And by doing this, it will actually improve your efficiency and you can focus for a lot longer. And the major distraction of a student is a mobile phone, right? We are always on our phones, always scrolling TikTok, always scrolling Instagram and all that. We are always on our phone, and that's the major part. We don't want to switch from that phone to our textbooks to study or our laptops to complete the project, right? And that's the major distraction for a student. But if you start using this Pomodoro technique and start the timer on your phone, then you know there is a timer running. I have to study for 25 minutes. I have to complete this timer. If you study for just one Pomodoro timer, focus mode, 25 minutes, it will give you so much confidence. If you study that 25 minutes, then it will be easy. That's not a big problem. If you studied for 25 minutes, then it will give you so much confidence. You want to study more, then you will take a 5-minute break, then you will study for 25 minutes. If you keep repeating this, that 25 minutes can be 40 minutes. I use the 40-minute timer nowadays because simply 25 minutes is not enough, because 25 minutes of focus, just boom, it will just go away instantly. I don't feel how this 25 minutes goes too fast. So you can increase it over time. At first, if 25 minutes seems too much for you, you can reduce to like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but please do start that. It will help you so much. And it also helps to avoid your distraction, that is a phone. If you start a timer on your phone, you won't be using that phone for a long time, because that's a timer running. You don't want to stop that timer. You have to study for that 25 minutes. Then after you can do that. But also to avoid this phone distraction, you can record yourself studying. You can make a time-lapse video on your phone. If you use your phone as a recorder, then you simply have a sense that my phone is recording. I can't use that at the moment. So what options do I have to do? I have to study, and you will keep studying. You have seen a lot of my time-lapse video studying. Yes, I started this so back like 7-8 months ago, and it is actually quite motivating, because when you record yourself studying, then at that time you will be studying. That's a good part. And after studying, when you watch that video, you will be so happy that, oh my god, I studied for 1 hour straight. That's of so much sense. You have to make your brain happy, and if our brain is happy doing something, then it want to do that again and again. So that's a win-win situation for all of us. So don't want to make this video too long, and this video we discussed about 5-minute rule, 1-minute rule, and Pomodoro timer. And this was for today, guys. And I will be sharing a lot of more. I have a lot of other tips to share with you guys that might help you in your daily life, and I will be dropping those videos soon. Please try this, and if you find this video helpful, then please drop a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I'll meet you soon in another video, and until then, take care. Bye bye. Sayonara. I love you guys.